Hello students. So in previous class we discussed what is hashing. Uh, Now we will discuss how to resolve the collision. So what is collision? If you want to know that, you please first watch the video lecture 1 on hashing. This is video lecture 2. So collision resolution methods are open addressing and chaining. So in this class we will discuss open addressing. So open addressing, what is open addressing? How it resolves the collision? So this open addressing prefers a linear probing and their modifications. So linear probing, what is linear probing? That we'll understand, that we'll learn, and how linear probing is modified. So here the word probe, I think you are aware of. Probe means to examine. Linear probing means that you will examine in linear fashion. So what you will examine? What we are doing? We are doing collision resolution. So whenever there is a collision, we will move in linear fashion to find an empty space for our record. Say I have a record R, its key is K. If I generate the hash address for this record, then HK is small h, this. Now say this location H is already occupied. As we discussed in our previous class, there is a collision and this is already occupied. Why already occupied? Because some other record has some key, say K1, and HK1 is also H. So you have already stored that record there. Now when you want to store this record R, again there is a hash function value H, small h. So this is what we call a collision, and that value is already occupied. So in linear probing, when there is a collision, the location which is generated by this hash function is already occupied. Then what you will do? You will probe the h plus 1 location. If it is empty, then your record R will be stored there. If h plus 1 is not empty, then you will go for location h plus 2, then h plus 3, and so on. Whenever you find a empty location, you will store your record there. So this is how the linear probing works. I hope you are getting this point. If you are clear with collision, then you will also be clear with this. See, I again repeat. Say I have a hash function hk. So if I am storing some record hk1 and hk1 value is small h, then I will store that record at location h. Now I want to store some other record, namely R, and that other record hk value is also h. So this h location is already occupied by some other record. So this is a collision situation. In this case, we will probe or we will examine location h plus 1. If it is empty, we will store our record there. If it is not empty, then we will, in order, we will examine h plus 2, h plus 3, and so on unless we find a empty location for record R. And then R will be stored there. So this, because we are probing or examining the locations in linear fashion, h plus 1, h plus 2, h plus 3, and so on. That's why this is called linear probing. So this is called linear probing method for collision resolution. Now see, here is an example. I have taken certain k and hk. So this k equals to 17, hk equals to 4, k equals to 11, hk equals to 11. Say for example, these are the values for hash functions for certain key values. I am taking a list of records like this, say A, B, C, D, E, X, Y, Z. So these are the records. Record also have a key. It is a part of record. So key is 4, 8, 15, 24, 17, 11, 18, and these are the keys. So this is my domain and this is my range. So for every key, I am calculating HK. Say for key A, key 4, HK equals to 4, 8, it is 8, for 15 it is 2, and so on. So I have made a list here. You can see that for a particular key, HK value is this. So this is domain, this is range. These are wisely chosen by me or whoever have developed this function. So wisely chosen domain, wisely chosen range, and a function. Now see how to store the values in this and how to resolve the collisions. See, here are the memory locations from 1 to 11. So this is your range. 1 to 11 is your range. So if you have decided range by yourself, then you also need to decide your domain in a manner that none of the HK value goes beyond the range. None of your HK value should go beyond the range. So accordingly, you need to decide your function and its domain. So see how these values or these records are stored. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I am telling you here, and we will practice the collision resolution also, linear probing. See, for record A, HK is 4. So it is telling me that A should be stored at location 4. So I have stored here A. There is no collision. Now for B, I have also mentioned these values here. So for B, it is 8. Key HK is 8. So B should be stored at location 8. So I have stored it here. Then C, HK value is 2. So C is stored here. No collision. At location number 4, A is there. At location number 8, B is there. Please note it. Then D is, HK value for D is 11. This is not key value. This is HK value. So this is not K. This is HK. So it tells me that D should be stored at location number 11. So I have stored D here. There is no problem because there is no collision. Now when I want to store E, then it tells me that there is this HK value is 4. So when I want to store E here, I see that A is already there. That means this location is already occupied and I cannot store this E at location number 4. So what I will do? I will apply linear probe to resolve this collision. See, I have mentioned here for E, HK equals to 4. So next address is 5. So what I'll do, this is H means 4. So I will explore next one, 5. So 5 is empty. So I will store E here. So now E is stored here. So C, A, B, D, E. So these values are stored now. The collision was there, it is resolved. Now see, for X, the HK value is 11. So if I go to 11, I see that D have already occupied this location. This location is occupied. Then what to do? This is a collision case. So where to store X? So we will take the linear probe method. In linear probe, you will go circular. So after 11, you will come to 1. So 1 is empty. So you will store X here. Then for Y, the value is 5. That means HK is 5. So you went to 5 and you see that E is already there. It is occupied location. So linear probing, you will probe 6. So 6 is empty. So you will store here Y. Then for Z, the value of HK function is, here you can see 1. I have not mentioned here. It is 1. So what I do, I go to location number 1. I see this is already occupied, means this is a collision. So I linearly probe. So I go to location number 2. That is also already occupied. So I go to linear probing location number 3. So this is empty. So I will store Z here. So in this manner, storage can be performed. So what we are doing, we are using some hash function. According to that hash function, a record key is given, then I can calculate HK. Then I try to store that record at HK location. But HK location, if already occupied, that means there is a collision. Then I will linearly probe. Linearly probe means I will linearly examine the empty space, and if found, I will store the record there. So in this way, it is stored. Now you will see. You may ask how to search. So say you want to search something. Say you want to search Y. Then what you will do? You will take key of Y. Then you will generate HK. HK is 5. So we will go on 5. So you will match here. Y is not found. So because you know that at the time of storing, you used linear probing. So you will go to the next location. So Y is found here. So you can find the Y and you can tell that yes, Y is found at location number 6. Say you want to find Z, then what you'll do, you will generate, you know the key, so you will generate the hash function for it will be 1. Then you'll go to 1, oh, Z is not there. Then you'll go to 2, oh no, Z is not there. Then you'll go to 3 because you used linear probing, that's why you are moving like this. So you will go to 3, you will find Z. So that is fine, you have found it. Now see, what in case of an unsuccessful search? Unsuccessful search means you are searching something which is not there. So say for example, I am trying to find uh, F in this. So what I'll do, I will take the key of F and that will generate some value within the range. So because F is not mentioned here, I assume that say HK for F is 4. So you will go to 4, F is not there. You will go to 5, F is not there. You will go to 6, F is not there. Then you will go to 7, it is empty space. So when you reaches an empty space, now you can conclude, you need not go ahead. You can conclude that F is not there because you are using linear probing. Key is 4. So F you can find and 4, 5, 6 and so on. There cannot be an empty space in between. So when you reach an empty space, you can conclude that F is not there. So this is a case of unsuccessful search. I hope this is clear to you. Now, average number of probes for a successful search in this case. So how to calculate average number of probes? So that I'm telling you how to calculate. See, if I want to search, so these are how many records there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 records. So I will, for successful search, I will count how many probes. Probes means examinations. Examination means comparison. How many comparisons you need to do. So see, for A, I will generate HK. HK will be 4. I will go to 4 and A is there. So found only 1. So only one comparison is required to find A. Similarly, for B also, C also, D also, and up to this point D. So for A, B, C, and D, you need to do only one comparison, because when you generate the HK value, you can directly go there and compare, you will find it. So these are one comparison values. But when this is a collision, E, at the time of storage, there was a collision. So it will take 2 probes. Like you will generate HK is 4. So you will compare here, then you will move ahead. So you will find in second comparison, you will find the value E. So for E, it is 2. Means number of probes is 2. Number of probes means number of examinations. Number of examinations, number of comparisons. So 2 comparisons. In case of X also, here was collision and then you will compare this and then you'll go ahead. So it will also be 2. For Y, you will generate 5. So you will not find here, then you will move ahead. So there are also 2 comparisons, and for Z you will generate 1. HK is 1, then you will compare this. Z is not found, you will compare this. C, Z is not found, you compare this. So 3 comparisons. So for Z it is 3, for E, X and Y 2, and then A, B, C, D if you are finding, it is 1 comparison. So what I do, I take this. For A, B, C and D 1 comparison is required. For E, X and Y 2 comparisons are required, and for Z 3 comparisons are required, for total 8. This much 13 comparisons are required for a successful search. So the average comparison is 1.6. So average number of comparisons is 1.6. So which is far less than the linear search. If it would be a linear search, and if you would have stored these values in A, B, C, D in normal array, like A is here, B, C, D, E, F, E, then X, Y, and Z. So the number of comparisons for Z would be 8. For the value Y would be 7. The value this, so summation of 1 to 8 divided by 8, and that would become 8 into 9 divided by 8 into 2. So approximately 4.5 or 6. So average number of comparisons would be 4.5 in that case, linear search. So this is considerably improved. So I hope you are getting this point, how the number of probes for successful search are counted. Now, average number of probes for unsuccessful search. So for unsuccessful search means you are finding something which is not available there. So if you are doing that, then for anything like you will generate HK, and HK can be within from range. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, or 11. So HK can be generated like any of these 1 to 11 range. And then you are failing, means you are reaching to a empty space. Then you conclude that I failed. So all these 11 possibilities we are considering. Say for something you are finding for which HK is 1. So in that case, you will compare this, Z, A, E, Y, and then you'll come to a empty space. So you are going through 7 steps, like 7 comparisons or 7 examinations or 7 probe, whatever you call. So if HK is 1, it will be 7 comparisons. HK is 2, 6 comparisons. HK is 3, then 4 comparisons. These 5 comparisons. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And similarly, HK 4, 5, 6. So if HK is 6, you need 2 comparisons. And then if HK is 7, you need 1 comparison. So up to HK 7. So 7 comparisons, 6 comparisons, 5 comparisons, 4 comparisons, 3, 2, and 1 comparison when HK is 7. Now, I hope you are getting this point, that for unsuccessful search, you are taking something which is not there. And for that particular record, there is a key and you will calculate the HK. So HK can be anything from 1 to 11 because this is the range. So 1 to 11. So for 1, you need to compare 7 before you decide that the value is the record is not there. For HK equals to 2, there will be 6 comparisons before you conclude that HK the record you are finding is not there. So in that manner, up to 7, this is this. And when somebody generates HK 8, only 1 comparison, HK 1 and 2, sorry, because here and then empty, so 2. And then for 9 it is 1, 10 it is 1. And for 11, you will start from here, you will not find empty space till this point. So it is 8. Because say you have generated HK 11, that record is not there, so you'll compare this, this, and so on. You will reach here, oh, empty space, so you have decided that that record is not there. So next values are 2, 1, 1, and 8. 2 for this 8, When HK is 8, 2 comparisons and you are done. That value is not there. HK is 9, only one comparison. HK is 10, only one comparison. And HK is 11, so 8 comparisons. Then you will say that value is not found. So average number of probes for unsuccessful search is calculated like this. And it is 40 upon 11, that is 3.6. So after 3.6 efforts, you can say that some unsuccessful, like that element or the record you are searching for is not found. What would be the case if we have stored in linear fashion? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, then X, Y, Z. So these are the values we would have stored in linear. And then for every unsuccessful, we would compare this, all 8. After 8 comparisons, we would say, oh, that value is not there. So average number of probes in linear would be 8, which is considerably improved in this example. So this is 3.6. Say you are searching for key 27, so that already I have explained, but still I can read it out and tell you what I have written here. Say searching for key 27. So HK equals to K mod 13. So your HK is 1. After 7 probes, you will find a blank location that tells you about the unsuccessful probe. So element is not found. That is what we say, unsuccessful probe. So that's why we will say that it is 7 comparisons or 7 probes are required to tell that unsuccessful probe in case of HK equals to 1. So this is how the linear probing works. And with examples you can practice. You can take another hash function of your own choice. You can design any hash function, and then you can define a domain and a range. So you please note that for every value in domain, the HK must be there in the range. If HK is not there in the range, so that value cannot be in domain. One thing is this, or otherwise you change your function such that if you want that value x, say some value ki is there for which HK is there in the range, it's fine. But if it is not there in the range, then you remove this HK from domain either, or you change your function so that your K and your domain and range are well defined. Now I have mentioned here one disadvantage of linear probing, that is we call clustering. Or clustering means what? That if one particular value is generated for many records, then what will happen? All those records will be stored in a small locality, small local portion of memory which is allotted to you. Say HK generated 4, location is occupied. Then again 4 is generated for some other record. Then 5 is occupied. Then 4 or 5, if generated for some third record, then 6 is occupied. Now if 6 is generated for some other record, then 7 is occupied, and so on. So all the values that are stored will occupy a small local portion, or there is a cluster. Remaining area is empty, only particular area is full. So when we will search, this will become more or less a linear search. So disadvantage of linear probing: cluster of record is formed when a location is occupied. It's next and then next to next and so on. Positions are occupied with greater probability depending upon lambda equals to n by m ratio. So n by m ratio, if is equals to 50% or more, clustering of records happens with high probability. So there is a higher chance of clustering if this lambda defined as n by m is 50% or more. So to avoid clustering, we we modify the linear probing system. So linear probing we have discussed here. In next class, we will discuss how can we modify linear probing so that clustering problem can be avoided. And clustering problem is nothing but in a large memory space, only a small part is occupied, but the remaining values are empty. This should be avoided, because when we will search, it will become more or less a linear search. So this is clustering problem is there in the linear probing, so we need to modify it. That's why in the topic initially I told you that we will learn linear probing and its modifications. So linear probing we have discussed today, modifications we will discuss in next class. Thank you very much for watching this. Keep practicing. Without practice you won't be able to